In the vast Middle Eastern desert, three smugglers arrive, wielding large blades as they search beneath rocks. After a while, one of them discovers a hole in the ground. He calls his companions, and together they fill the hole with gas. As one of them leans in for a closer look, a spider suddenly leaps out and bites him. The man collapses in agony while more spiders emerge. His fellow smugglers quickly capture the creatures in plastic containers. Realizing their companion won't recover, they decide to end his suffering. Later, the captured spiders are illegally sold worldwide as exotic pets. In France, a young man named Caleb visits a shop dealing in smuggled goods to purchase jewelry. While inside, he notices a spider confined in a plastic box, and finding it fascinating, decides to buy it. Afterward, Caleb returns home and helps the janitor, Zhao, with the trash. Along the way, a group of kids throws firecrackers at him as a prank, but he manages to snatch one of them and take their bag of firecrackers, which he then hands over to Zhao for disposal. Caleb later meets up with his friend Mathis, a bicycle thief who helps him find buyers for his sneaker business. When he arrives home, he finds his sister, Manon, tidying up their apartment. He scolds her for not taking care of their deceased mother's belongings. Entering his room, he panics when he notices the lights are off, as his collection of exotic pets depends on the warmth to survive. He quickly turns the lights back on and places the newly acquired spider inside a shoebox, promising to get a proper glass enclosure for it later. When he confronts Manon about turning off the lights, she fires back, frustrated over their skyrocketing electricity bills. Their apartment is deteriorating, and she believes they should sell it, but Caleb refuses, unwilling to part with their mother's memories. That evening, Caleb attends a party where he crosses paths with Tumani, who demands new sneakers to replace his worn-out pair. Caleb promises to get them soon, and Tumani leaves, issuing a subtle threat before departing with his dog. Later, Caleb visits Claudia, an old friend of his mother's, gifting her the jewelry he bought as a farewell present, as she's moving out due to rising rent costs. The party continues with the group smoking and playing video games. Meanwhile, back in Caleb's room, the spider manages to chew through its box and escape. Hours later, Caleb returns home, notices the missing spider, and frantically searches for it. Though he fails to find it, he stumbles upon a mysterious cocoon, which he hides before deciding to sleep on the couch. The next morning, Caleb is awakened by Manon and some friends working on the bathroom, preventing him from showering. He later delivers the sneakers to Tumani, but they catch the attention of Gilles, who suspects Caleb is hiding something illegal in them. As Tumani tries on his new sneakers in a storage room, he suddenly feels a sharp pain and finds a spider crawling out of the shoe. In a panic, he smacks it with the sneaker, only for dozens of baby spiders to emerge and swarm him. His dog eats the original spider, but Tumani is left writhing in pain, his skin developing strange markings as his eyes leak a yellowish liquid. Meanwhile, Caleb's friends discover his illegal pets and criticize him for keeping them. Ignoring Tumani's frantic calls, Caleb argues with them and forces them out of his room. Later, he finally tries calling Tumani back, but by then, Tumani is in severe distress, barely able to reach his phone before collapsing and shattering a glass, leaving him bleeding. The neighbors become alarmed when Tumani's dog won't stop barking. After knocking on his door with no response, Gilles breaks the lock, revealing Tumani's lifeless body. The police arrive but remain tight-lipped about the cause of death, heightening the residents' suspicions when they notice the officers wearing masks. An argument erupts as some believe it was a drug overdose, forcing the cops to restore order and place the building on lockdown. Anyone displaying a fever must wait for medical personnel. The neighbors watch in unease as Tumani's body is taken away. As the group gathers to discuss the situation, Manon accuses Caleb of selling drugs to Tumani, infuriating him. Jordi, however, dismisses the overdose theory, having seen real addicts at the hospital. Meanwhile, Zhao cleans the supply room and notices an alarming number of cobwebs. Covering her face with a handkerchief, she sprays repellent, unaware that some spiders have already escaped through the vents. Soon after, Lila, Jordi's girlfriend, encounters a spider in the bathroom. She panics, and Jordi attempts to catch it with a glass, but when that fails, he resorts to stomping on it. However, dozens of tiny spiders scurry away, and more emerge from the drain, forcing the group to seal the bathroom with tape. They confront Caleb, who finally confesses to buying an illegal desert spider, though he insists it was much smaller. Matthews deduces that the baby spiders are larger because they've adapted to their new environment. Zhao continues her cleaning rounds and discovers a dead spider. Just then, the police return and officially declare a quarantine, sealing the building's entrance. Investigating further, Zhao climbs a ladder, moves a ceiling panel, and uncovers a massive spider nest. As she examines it with a flashlight, a spider suddenly jumps on her face, causing her to fall down the stairs. Meanwhile, the group debates whether to escape. Caleb initially refuses, wanting to warn the neighbors first. While checking on Claudie, he finds her lifeless, spiders crawling from her corpse. Fleeing in horror, he and Matthews spot an old man pleading for help. Caleb, noticing his bite wounds, convinces Matthews to leave him behind. As chaos spreads, spiders infest the building, trapping and killing residents. In one apartment, a man working out unknowingly attracts a spider, leading to his gruesome demise. The group's attempt to warn neighbors proves futile. No one is willing to leave. Meanwhile, Jordy finds out the spiders belong to the Cicride family, capable of growing 10 times their size. When they hear a strange noise in the kitchen, they discover Tumani's dog dead, with a spider emerging from its stomach. The infestation worsens, bodies piling up. As the group tries to escape, Gilles ambushes them, attacking with a baton and accusing Caleb of dealing drugs. He forces them into the apartment, suspicious of Caleb's sealed box. When he stabs it open, spiders pour out. The group flees, locking the door behind them. Making their way downstairs, they find the corridors overrun with webs and giant spiders. The lights suddenly flicker off but reactivate, revealing time-sensitive bulbs. Using this knowledge, they move carefully through the web-infested hallway, with Manon controlling the lights. However, when she attempts to cross, the lights go out, trapping her momentarily before she reunites with the group. Reaching the exit, they find the police blocking their escape. The officers release gas and fire warning shots, forcing them to retreat. During the chaos, Jordy is left behind. Caleb searches for him, only to find his friend cocooned in webbing, urging him to flee before being overtaken by spiders. With limited options, the group takes shelter, finding a bag of the kids' firecrackers. Matthews suggests using them to fight the spiders and reach the rooftop. They light a firecracker, stunning the spiders long enough to pass. When their light sources dim, Caleb resorts to Molotov cocktails, igniting the corridor and forcing the spiders to retreat. Upon reaching an apartment, they encounter armed officers who brutally subdue them. During the struggle, Caleb shoots a cop in self-defense. The group is restrained and taken to the garage, where they discover that the police have been secretly dealing with the spider outbreak all along.